Good evening and welcome to Poland Daily. I'm Nicholas Richardson and this is the news. The ruling Law and Justice Party will tomorrow present the outline of the new Polish order, the post-COVID-19 recovery plan that will guide the country's economic development in the coming years. According to the first reports, the plan will place great emphasis on the family as the most important societal institution, increase spending on the National Health Service, ecology, digitisation, and a raise in the tax-free allowance before income tax is payable. Law and Justice politicians state that the goal of the new order is to increase Poland's wealth, accelerate development and eliminate the social disparities that have been created over the past 30 years. Poland is pursuing the economically more developed countries in Europe and the world. We want to speed up the process of closing the distance in this race. According to initial reports, the new Polish order will focus on 10 areas that have been named as follows: a plan for health, honest work and decent wages, a decade of development, family and home at the centre of life, Poland, our land, a friendly school and culture for the new century, a good climate for business, clean energy and clean air, Cyber Poland 2025, the golden autumn of life. Law and Justice representatives say that the smallest social unit, the family, will be a crucial element of the strategy. It is very important that the family is at the centre of activities, because the family is a strong foundation on which the state should be built. The most important issues for our party are financial assistance to local governments, tax reductions, but also help for the elderly. We will provide the elderly with something special that has been added to the plan on our party's initiative. The largest opposition formation, the Civic Coalition, has responded to the new Polish order by demanding that the government takes responsibility for previous election promises that are yet to be fulfilled. We demand 10 debates on the most important issues for Poles, such as healthcare, public finances, economy and the condition of Polish agriculture. We call on Law and Justice politicians to meet our MPs for debates on the most important issues. Another important element of the new Polish order is rumoured to be an increase in the tax-free allowance, potentially up to 30,000 zloty, compared to today's figure of between 3,000 to 9,000, depending on income levels. According to Professor Witold Modzelewski, the president of the Institute of Tax Studies, such an increase would constitute a watershed moment. If we manage to rebalance our system, in which today the rich pay low taxes and the poor pay very high taxes, we will go into the next 30 years of our country's history with a much smarter and a much fairer tax system than the one that has been in place for the last 30 years. A large increase in spending on public infrastructure, such as the new mega airport, the central transportation hub, is also expected to be announced. The convention starts at 10 a.m. on Saturday. The United States Centre for Disease Control and Prevention, better known as CDC, has issued new guidelines saying that those who have been fully vaccinated no longer need to wear masks outdoors and may avoid wearing them indoors as well in most places. United States President Joe Biden told reporters that he believes this is to be a great milestone and a great day. The CDC has said that fully vaccinated people will not need to physically distance in most places and that it hopes the guidance will prod more Americans to get vaccinated. The agency has also faced some criticism, even from public health officials, that it has been too cautious in its guidance. Critics have said that people need to see more benefits from getting vaccinated in terms of returning to normal activities.
Yesterday, CDC announced that there is no more obligation for wearing masks for all the vaccinated in public and indoors. This is a big milestone in a fight against COVID-19 pandemic in the United States. All the other restrictions are still valid for those who travel. They are still obligated to wear masks and face covering, as well keeping 6 feet distance between everybody indoors at the airports, also in buses and airplanes. For Poland Daily, Małgorata Schultz, Los Angeles.
CDC Director Rochelle Walensky announced the new guidance just 2 weeks after its most recent update, basing it on a sharp reduction in cases, expansion of vaccines to younger people, and vaccine efficacy against coronavirus variants. A Ukrainian court has ordered that the pro-Russian lawmaker Viktor Medvedchuk to be placed under house arrest after prosecutors opened an investigation for suspected treason. The measure is likely to increase tensions between Kiev and Moscow, as Medvedchuk is the most influential pro-Russian politician and oligarch in Ukraine, while also enjoying a very personal relationship with Vladimir Putin. Medvedchuk says the case is fabricated and told reporters after the court session that he would consult his lawyers about what steps to take next. President Vladimir Putin is godfather to Medvedchuk's daughter and is likely to put pressure on Ukraine to change its course of action against the man who is widely seen as Russia's most prominent political ally in Kiev. Medvedchuk announced this week that he is suspected of treason and attempting to plunder national wealth in Crimea, a part of Ukraine which Russia annexed in 2014. The Kremlin has said in the past that Putin has great respect for Medvedchuk and values his role as an intermediary with Kiev. Speaking outside the court, Medvedchuk confirmed that the court has ordered him to wear a bracelet during his time in home arrest. You know, if there is a court decision ordering that I must be under home arrest, then I will certainly be. And to answer your question, yes, I must wear a bracelet. Relations between Moscow and Kiev have been increasingly tense in recent months, with Russia having massed additional troops near the border and with violence escalating in the unresolved separatist conflict in eastern Ukraine. The treason case is part of a crackdown against Medvedchuk that began in February when he and several associates were put under sanctions by Ukraine's president, and 3 television channels owned by an ally were forced off the air. Speaking at a conference dedicated to Italian family policies, Pope Francis said that the cost of raising children is too high and parents need more help to boost the low birth rates which are undermining the future of countries like Italy. At the conference, the Pope underlined that polls show that most young people want to have children but are worried about rising costs. The data say that most young people want to have children, but their dreams of a new life, the seeds of the country's rebirth, come up against a demographic winter that is still cold and dark. Only half of young people believe that they will be able to have 2 children in their lifetime. The Pope said a shift in values bore some of the blame, with modern society putting an emphasis on earning money and building a career, while children were viewed as a distraction. It is sad to see role models who only care about looking good, always beautiful, young and fit. Young people don't grow up with the fireworks of appearance. They mature if they are attracted by those who have the courage to pursue big dreams, to sacrifice for others, to do good for the world we live in. And staying young doesn't come from taking selfies and retouching pictures, but from being able to look into the eyes of your children one day. Sometimes the message goes out that being fulfilled means making money and success, while children seem almost like a distraction that should not hinder one's personal aspirations. This mentality is a gangrene in society and makes the future unsustainable. Speaking at the same event, Prime Minister Mario Draghi said that Italy saw just 404,000 births last year, the lowest since records began and down 30% on 12 years ago, while deaths totaled 746,000. Lifted in part by the COVID pandemic. The question of low birth rates is not confined to Italy. The United States birth rate declined last year by 4% to its weakest since 1979. The sharp fall in 2020 in the number of babies born in many countries has been blamed on the stress and uncertainty generated by COVID, but the longer-term fertility trends across much of the developed world have been in decline for years. That's the news. Thank you for watching. Stay with us for the weather, Poland Daily Business and more programmes. But from me, it's have a good night and a better tomorrow.